Hello, knowledge seekers. In this episode of 20-Minute Books, we're diving into How to Talk to Anyone by the renowned author and public speaker Leil Lowndes. If you've ever struggled to communicate effectively in any social setting, whether at a party, a workplace environment, or in your private life, this episode is a must-listen. Our book for today's discussion is a treasured guide, packed full with techniques and tips to elevate your conversation skills and grace in any scenario. Lowndes, with her decades of experience, touches upon the intricate art of communication and the subtle signals that play an imperative role in making or breaking relationships. In addition to this, she provides insights into how socially awkward individuals can nurture their confidence, which can be especially beneficial for business people looking to foster fantastic work relationships. Not just them, this book is an excellent resource for anyone who seeks to enhance their communication with their partners and who aim to improve their social skills. Join us as we explore this indispensable guide to mastering the art of conversation in just 20 minutes. How to Talk to Anyone. 92 Little Tricks for Big Success in Relationships. Introduction. Discover the art of seamless communication and never stumble in conversations again. We all encounter situations where we feel compelled to engage in conversations that we'd rather avoid. Maybe it's an impromptu presentation at work or an uneasy discussion with a relative. Let's face it, as much as we may wish otherwise, communication forms the backbone of our lives. So wouldn't it be beneficial if we could become more adept at navigating these interactions? Author Leil Lowndes, a wizard in the realm of communication, has dedicated her life to assisting people in becoming efficient communicators. She has spent years observing individuals, studying their quirks, habits, and researching effective communication strategies. She has utilized her findings to devise numerous tips and tricks aimed at helping us better traverse the tumultuous sea of daily communication. So prepare to dive into a sea of knowledge that will equip you with everything from the most basic to the more advanced techniques to ace any conversation, be it a laid-back chat or a high-pressure meeting. Believe me, you will be thankful that you did. During this journey, you'll learn how to disseminate the positivity of praise effectively, the secret to making a memorable entrance at a party, and the key to delivering the perfect compliment. Part 1. Make impactful first impressions with genuine smiles and inviting body language. Let's face it, first impressions carry an immense weight. The way you present yourself during initial interactions is imprinted in people's minds, shaping their perceptions of you in subsequent interactions. Where should you start to ensure your first impression is positive? Begin with your face. Remember the old saying, a smile is the universal welcome. Take this to heart when you meet new people. A genuine, warm smile is an effective tool in winning people over. But here's the catch. Fake smiles can be easily spotted and come across as disingenuous. Hence, let your smile grow slowly. This gives it a personal touch and feels more sincere. Interestingly, studies indicate that in corporate environments, women perceived to have a slower, more natural smile are seen as more credible. However, offering the same smile to everyone may seem off-putting. Aim for variety based on the person and the situation. The next tool in your arsenal to make lasting impressions? Your eyes. Establishing steady eye contact elicits respect and fondness. To nurture a relationship, maintain eye contact even when the other person isn't speaking. Break it only when necessary. Now that you have your facial expressions sorted, it's time to delve into body language, a potent tool influencing how others perceive you. Even when meeting someone for the first time, make them feel like an old friend rather than a stranger. This can be achieved by turning your body towards them completely, indicating your undivided attention, coupled with a warm smile. However, beware of unnecessary fidgeting or excessive hand gestures. These can easily be a turn-off. An odd but crucial insight from studies is that touching your face while talking reduces your credibility. So, stay composed and keep your hands away from your face. Part 2. Navigate the art of introductions and adapt to body language for engaging conversations. The thought of meeting someone new can be nerve-wracking. Questions like, "What if we don't share common interests?" or "What topics can we discuss?" might cloud your mind. Fear not. More often than not, a fluid introduction can be the springboard for an engrossing conversation. A smooth introduction can be facilitated by a mutual friend or the host of the event you're attending. If that's not an option, don't hesitate to politely inquire about the person you're about to meet. Another approach is to subtly join the vicinity of the stranger, listening for conversation cues. A tried and tested trick to get people to approach you is to have an icebreaker, a unique accessory or intriguing object. This could be a vintage pocket watch or a unique piece of jewelry that invites questions and starts conversations. If you're hosting, you can ensure fluid conversations by making introductions and including a fun fact about each person. This provides everyone with a conversation opener and helps initiate engaging discussions. Once you've made the introductions and the conversations have begun, it's time to focus on your demeanor. To keep your audience engaged, pay close attention to their reactions and their speaking style. Try to mirror their mood and tone. It will help keep the conversation engaging and interactive. For instance, if they are gesturing animatedly and smiling, respond with similar enthusiasm. If the atmosphere is more serious with everyone leaning back, try to adjust accordingly. When it's your turn to join the conversation, be confident and maintain a positive demeanor. While the choice of words is important, a warm attitude can often be more impactful. However, steer clear of negative comments, complaints, or rudeness. These will leave a negative first impression. Part 3. Unlock the power of small talk by creating conversational openings and becoming an engaged listener. You might be tempted to dismiss small talk as trivial, even unproductive. But don't be too hasty. The fact is, small talk plays a vital role in personal and professional relationships, often tipping the scales between creating a positive rapport and discouraging potential connections. If small talk isn't your strong suit, here's a little tip. Be ready for the questions that are bound to come your way. Common queries like, "Where are you from?" or "What do you do?" are often the icebreakers. Yet, they tend to elicit terse, uninviting responses. Instead of offering one-word answers like Boston or teacher, be prepared to expand. Infuse an interesting fact or a short narrative that could segue into a new conversation. For example, if you're from San Francisco, share an intriguing snippet about its iconic landmarks, potentially leading to a conversation about architecture or travel. Another winning strategy is to master the art of active listening and encourage the other person to keep talking. This might seem counterintuitive, but letting the other person take center stage can make you an engaging conversationalist. You'll not only keep them talking, but also give them the pleasure of being heard. When the conversation pauses, instead of jumping in with your thoughts, try repeating the last thing they said. It's an effective way to pass the conversational bat, triggering new insights and information. Another quick tip to earn brownie points is to know who among your group has an interesting tale to tell. Set the stage for them. It's not only entertaining for the group, but also makes the storyteller feel valued. However, remember to exercise discretion. Ensure the story is relevant and not something that was shared with you in confidence. You wouldn't want to tread on any toes. And lastly, when you are sharing, avoid divulging personal secrets or weaknesses early in your acquaintance. The urge to share something personal can be high when connections are new, but it's generally best to hold off. Revealing a secret prematurely could raise questions about what else you might be concealing. Part 4. Cultivate connections by mimicking, expressing empathy, and treating new acquaintances as close friends. Here's an interesting aspect of human nature to keep in mind. We are inherently drawn towards those who mirror our traits. You can exploit this natural inclination by emphasizing commonalities with the person you're conversing with. Remember the old adage, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery? Put it to use. Adapt to the other person's movements. Are they leisurely and cautious or quick and restless? Reflecting their movements can make them feel at ease, often without realizing why. The same holds true for language. Try to echo their choice of words and phrases. For instance, if they mention working for an advertising agency, stick with that term instead of referring to it as a company or firm. Take this a notch higher by incorporating words linked to their interests. If they're passionate about soccer, consider using phrases like score a goal. Another trick to establish rapport is to replace habitual filler words with empathizers. Instead of non-committal grunts or filler words such as huh, yeah, or respond with complete sentences that reflect understanding. Phrases like, that makes perfect sense, or I understand why you chose that, indicate that you are actively listening and keen to understand their perspective. Another quick tip to boost rapport and transition from casual acquaintances to close friends is to adopt the inclusive words we and us. Generally, we reserve these words for our closest friends and partners. Using them with someone you wish to establish a deeper connection with can accelerate the process of building a stronger bond. Instead of asking, what is your opinion about the new restaurant? Try, what do we think about the new restaurant? Finally, a shared sense of humor can be a great bonding agent. Cultivating in-jokes or recalling shared laughter from previous conversations can quickly create a sense of camaraderie. It's a shorthand way of saying, we've shared memorable moments, accelerating the process of establishing a meaningful connection. Part 5. Master the art of complimenting with tact, restraint, and timeliness. Offering praise seems straightforward, doesn't it? But it can actually be a double-edged sword. When compliments are perceived as insincere, they can often do more harm than good. So here's a tip. Offer praise indirectly. One way to do this is by channeling compliments through a mutual friend. This serves a dual purpose. The recipient receives the praise without any awkwardness, and the messenger also basks in the reflected glow of positivity. If you're entrusted with passing along a compliment, don't miss the opportunity. Being a harbinger of good news has its own perks. But what if you're directly complimenting someone? Veer away from being overly transparent. Embed your compliment within a casual remark. Ask, how have you been? And follow it up with, you're looking well rested and healthy. Another subtle approach is to seek their opinion or advice, indirectly expressing your respect. Asking for a book recommendation, for instance, demonstrates your regard for their intellect. If you wish to be more upfront, remember, a little praise goes a long way. In a world where efforts often go unnoticed, a simple acknowledgement of someone's work can mean a lot. However, be timely with your praise. Delayed compliments may lose their potency. So if someone has done something worthy of praise, don't wait, let them know immediately. This is particularly effective in scenarios like post-presentation feedback. Public speaking is nerve-wracking for most people, and a well-timed word of appreciation can be a much-needed confidence booster. As for your closest relationships, you can afford to be more specific with your compliments. Highlighting a particular trait you admire, their resilience, their charm, or their creativity, for example, can have a deep impact. Remember, the key to an impactful compliment is sincerity and authenticity. Part 6. Heighten your interpersonal skills by practicing empathy, mindfulness, and the art of reciprocity. We've delved into the fundamentals of meaningful conversation. Now let's navigate some advanced strategies to elevate your interpersonal skills even further. At the heart of cultivating deeper relationships is mindfulness, being attentive and considerate. Firstly, recognize the human need to unload occasionally. When someone is venting, let them unburden. Be patient, listen sympathetically, allowing them to purge their frustrations. Once they've calmed down, steer the conversation towards lighter topics. Secondly, Avoid leaving conversations in limbo. Imagine your friend is engrossed in narrating a fascinating story when your food order arrives. After the interruption, ensure you loop back to her tale, inviting her to continue from where she left off. Thirdly, master the art of turning a blind eye. We all experience awkward moments we wish others hadn't noticed. If your friend inadvertently trips or mumbles, avoid drawing attention to it. Just move on with the conversation as if nothing happened. Trust me, your friend will be silently appreciative. Lastly, become adept at the subtle art of reciprocity. Doing favors feels great, but there's a nuanced difference between a thoughtful gesture and an inconsiderate request. When someone demands a favor abruptly, it can feel more like an imposition than a request. Ensure you don't commit the same blunder. Similarly, if you've done someone a favor, refrain from asking for reciprocation instantly. Let some time elapse, reinforcing the fact that your gesture was born out of goodwill, not obligation. When the time is ripe, you can bring up your request. And remember, people maintain an informal tally of the favors they grant and receive. Make sure you express your gratitude for their support and return the favor when you can. Strive for a balance of give and take in your relationships. It's a surefire way to deepen trust and strengthen bonds. Part 7. Adopting a professional demeanor propels career advancement. For anyone with career aspirations, making an impression on higher-ups is pivotal. A crucial aspect of this is mastering the art of professional communication. When engaging with superiors, be succinct and straightforward. Time is of the essence for influential individuals, so skipping unnecessary preamble is appreciated. A tactic to hold your listener's attention is to initiate sentences with "you." This immediately engages the listener, making them more attentive to the subsequent details. When delivering news, tune into the listener's anticipated reaction and mirror it in your communication. For instance, if you suspect they'll be thrilled with the news, mirror their joy. If the news isn't pleasant, deliver it with empathy. Tailor your introduction based on what the listener might find intriguing. When meeting potential clients, instead of a vanilla job title, provide a glimpse into how you help people in your role. If you're an accountant, say, "I streamline people's finances and uncover hidden savings." As a hairdresser, you could say, "I identify the perfect hairstyle that matches a client's personality and accentuates their features." However, adopting a professional demeanor isn't without its challenges. Here are a few faux pas to avoid. When you find common ground with someone, resist the urge to react overly enthusiastically with an "oh wow, me too." A more nuanced response would be to let the commonality surface naturally during the conversation. It's sure to leave an impression of your calm demeanor. Bypass cliches. They can make your conversation feel insipid and trite. Instead of asking, "What do you do?" inquire, "How do you typically spend your day?" This avoids putting people who aren't keen on discussing their profession in a tight spot, while opening a window for them to share their interests. Lastly, remember, in a professional setting, it's inappropriate to tease, embarrass, or poke fun at others. The mark of a true professional is their ability to maintain a respectful and considerate communication approach. Part 8. Retaining leadership requires balancing professional and personal life and practicing honesty. Ascending the corporate ladder is quite a feat, but once you've reached the pinnacle, a new challenge presents itself: retaining your position. A crucial leadership tip involves maintaining a clear boundary between your professional and personal life. During a business lunch, for instance, keep the work conversation for the dessert round, especially if it revolves around a challenging issue. After all, no one relishes their meal being soured by a tough business conversation. Similar advice applies to parties. They make great networking opportunities, but aren't the best places for delving into serious business discussions. Keep the vibe light and cordial, and schedule a separate meeting for more in-depth talks. When it's time for business, ensure you display a blend of honesty and professionalism. During client meetings or pitches, one common mistake is to focus only on the customer's benefits, skirting over what you gain from the deal. While it might seem courteous, it might also appear insincere. Be upfront and explain how both parties stand to benefit from the collaboration. This ensures transparency and clears any misgivings the client might harbor. Don't shy away from acknowledging mistakes. In fact, some businesses thrive on rectifying their blunders as it presents an opportunity to wow their customers. So if you've dispatched the wrong product, admit your error, apologize, and extend a goodwill gesture, like a gift card or complimentary shipping on their next purchase. This can help transform an unhappy customer into a loyal one, who might even spread positive word of mouth about your excellent service. Lastly, remember that leaders often lead by example. They don't await directions but take the initiative. In group settings, make an impression as a leader by being the first one to applaud or share an opinion. This subtle action could reinforce your leadership identity effectively. Part 9. Being well prepared enhances your meeting outcomes. Boosting your chances of a successful meeting, especially with a stranger, begins with some thoughtful preparation. Firstly, be conscious of having engaging and relevant things to say. Evidence suggests that individuals with a rich vocabulary are perceived as more intellectual and creative. Hence, it's worth your while to revisit your frequently used words and identify more expressive alternatives. Think about it. If you commit to learning a new word daily for 2 months, your enhanced lexicon will soon mark you out as an eloquent conversationalist. Possessing a repertoire of meaningful quotations also lends an air of wisdom. Whenever you stumble upon an impactful quote, jot it down and spend time memorizing it. When the right occasion presents itself, your quote will surely create a stir. Preparing for your meeting also means knowing your audience. If you're attending an industry-specific conference or event, familiarizing yourself with relevant business terminology can be a game changer. Go through related magazines or online resources to keep abreast of current issues. This understanding paves the way for acceptance and respect from your peers. This approach applies when you're in the market for something high-end like a car. Knowledge about industry jargon and product specifics can often tilt the deal in your favor. The same rule applies when traveling, either for pleasure or work. Awareness of local traditions and history helps avoid uncomfortable gaffes. A classic example is a businessman who almost clinched a deal in Brazil. However, he unknowingly used an OK hand sign, which carries an offensive connotation in Brazil. This incident underlines how easily a misunderstanding can unravel meetings or deals. So to ensure things progress without a hitch, invest the time to be thoroughly prepared. It might seem like extra work, but the dividends can be truly rewarding. Part 10. Mastering phone communication can compensate for the absence of visual cues. Communicating over the phone isn't everyone's cup of tea. Research indicates that individuals can lose up to 30% of their vocal energy during a phone conversation. However, by leveraging the right techniques, you can leave a lasting impression over the phone. When answering a call, ensure your tone is crisp and professional. As the caller introduces themselves, welcome them as though you're reuniting with an old friend. This warm approach immediately sets a positive tone for the conversation. Remember, phone calls rob you of facial expressions, body language, and hand gestures, crucial components of in-person communication. Therefore, it's your responsibility to convert these visual cues into verbal confirmations. So, rather than nodding, vocalize your affirmation through phrases like, that's wonderful, or go on. This ensures the caller knows you're engaged and responsive. Interestingly, people tend to respond positively when they hear their names. Hence, using someone's name periodically during a phone conversation can keep them attentive. However, be mindful of not overdoing it during face-to-face interactions, as it may come across as ingratiating. If you're initiating a business call, start by checking if the person is available for a chat. Continue only if they have the time to spare. Often, reaching the desired person on the phone involves navigating through a tenacious assistant. Instead of asking to speak with a specific person, inquire, "Is she in today?" This suggests a closer relationship, increasing your chances of a callback. On the other hand, if you're on the screening side, you can make the process of rejections gentler. Have your staff inform the caller they'll be connected directly. After a brief hold, your staff can then apologize and notify the caller of your unavailability. This prevents the caller from taking the rejection personally. With these strategies in your communication arsenal, you'll be well equipped to maximize every phone conversation. Part 11. Amplify your party experience by making a grand entrance and seizing the moment. Parties are often seen as a space to unwind and enjoy. While there's no harm in it, you could strategically use this platform to connect with influential attendees. Remember, a first impression plays a vital role, just as it does for pop stars with their commanding stage presence. By planning ahead, you can create a similar impact. The recipe for a stunning entrance is pretty straightforward. Pause momentarily at the doorway and scan the room. With a quick assessment, flash a smile and step in. This kind of theatrical entry is bound to make heads turn. Once inside, don't just stand around hoping someone will approach you. Instead, be proactive and engage with the most intriguing person around. If not, you could end up blending into the background, losing out on meeting key individuals. When you've got someone's attention, apply what you've learned so far. However, there's one extra piece of advice to keep in mind. Pay attention to your hand gestures, avoiding movements that may subconsciously signal aggression, like displaying your knuckles or the back of your hand. Instead, maintain a relaxed and welcoming posture, with palms facing outwards. Don't forget to be an attentive listener, mentally recording aspects of the conversation, especially any personal details they share or anything that appears important to them. By recalling these insights during your next interaction, you're bound to leave an unforgettable impression. Final summary. At the heart of these teachings lies a simple yet profound truth. The power to transform your communication skills and enhance your relationships rests with you. It all begins with understanding the significance of a solid first impression, coupled with the ability to project non-threatening positive body language. Effective complimenting and thorough preparation before meetings also carry weight. Equipped with this understanding and these techniques, you'll not only exude greater confidence during conversations, but also build stronger bonds, thus paving your path to success. Thank you for joining me today on this journey of learning and discovery as we explored the insights of another thought-provoking book in our growing library of knowledge. If you've enjoyed our time together, please take a moment to follow our podcast, give us a 5-star rating, and share 20-minute books with other knowledge seekers. Your support truly means a lot. Don't forget to join me again in the next episode, where we will delve into another enriching book. Until then, happy reading and happy listening.